Well, hello, all you Stardust Alive cruisers out there, and specifically a lot of you Ultimate Disco cruisers. Welcome to another edition of All Access Pass from Home. I'm your virtual cruise host, Jason, and so glad to see so many of you back again. Obviously, you see, we got a full house here today, a group I have yet to have the opportunity to sit down with, whether on our cruises or off, and we thought it was high time to talk with one of our most popular groups on any of our cruises, Boogie Wonder Band. How's it going, everybody? How we doing?
Hi, folks.
Good, we're good.
Hi, Jason. Thanks for having us.
Are you kidding me? This is awesome. Now, listen, usually I would take a moment and say, we have so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so, but I don't want to do that. I want to do something a little different. Down at the bottom in the bright, well, I say at the bottom, you never know how it's going to look. In one of our squares, in the bright pink wig, we have Boogie Cindy down there. So Boogie Cindy,
It's not a wig. It's not a wig.
I'm sorry. We have her. We have the bright pink hair.
Yeah.
Looks good for being in quarantine too.
I
Like,
know.
well done. Way to keep that up. That's not easy. I am gonna actually have you guys do me the honor of doing an introduction of each other. So Boogie Cindy, how about you pick one of your four bandmates there, and do a nice little intro of them.
Well, okay. I'm going to introduce the Surrey Cat. He's in my corner. Our trumpet player, Benny Chop Chop Jamison. He's like a super cool trumpet player. And as you can tell, he looks amazing too.
Oh yeah.
So,
No actual house cats were harmed in the making of that jacket.
No.
Yes. Okay, good.
I assure you.
Sorry, Cindy, go ahead.
well, Benny has been playing trumpet with us for a while. He's been on the 2 cruises with us. And, we're very lucky to have an amazing trumpet player because in disco music, it's quite the job.
Gotta have those horns.
Oh,
Gotta
yeah.
have those
Yeah.
horns. Apollo, I'm jumping up to you. Apollo, introduce one of those 4 fabulous people down there.
I'm going to introduce the pipes of gold, Stardust.
Yes.
I would tell you that she is probably a robot. I'm a human being when it comes on the stage. There's, not every night is the perfect night, but she seems to have the perfect night on pitch, usually blows you away with her range, is always on it. Yeah, she's great.
I love it. I love it.
Great, simple.
Stardust, your turn.
Okay, so I'm gonna introduce to you my partner in crime for day -0, -1. It's Boogie Cindy. She's my
Woohoo!
funkiest bass player in the whole world. I mean,
This is true.
always fun to share the stage with her. I mean, always having a smile, and she's really a big inspiration for me, for spreading the fever all around the world with her. I mean, yeah.
Very, very poor choice of words for our state of the earth right now. Let's talk about Cindy spreading the fever around.
Oh.
Yeah, come on, Stardust. Goodness me. Good words, though. I like it. I like it.
Good timing.
Spreading the energy around the world. Okay. Yeah, let's see. Chop Shop, you already been introduced, but you haven't introduced anybody.
My turn. Who could I
Okay.
introduce? I'll go with Eddie Toussaint.
Hey.
Oh yeah. Everybody knows Eddie Toussaint, the percussion player of the Boogie Wonder Band, of course. Lots of energy. This guy never stops moving while the shows. He is a beast. How can I say that? He just never stops. He's sweating all around.
Oh, yes.
He's really putting the work and the heart in this band, and this is
Thanks, bro. Thanks, man.
of course he is the man.
Thanks. Hey.
Everybody wants that in their introduction. Not only is he the heart and he's the man, he sweats a lot. So, yeah. Eddie, I feel you, brother. I do the same thing.
Cool.
Eddie,
So I have
it
the
is-
honor to introduce you my
Exactly.
my Apollo, my dear Apollo. I can say it's a hard worker. It's a guy who's always put the good attitude on his work. He's working. He's always learning and like to learn about what he's doing. He knows a lot about disco too. He can provide us a good vibe, he's got a good talent, got an amazing voice. This guy, you know, you can count on your front.
Mhm.
I can count on my front, like Stardust too. But Apollo, it's like it's the singer I
The
always-
swag.
Huh?
The swag.
Swag.
He got the swag, you know.
All
He's
right.
sexy, he's so nice. I like you, man.
Hey, like
I miss you so much.
And he does push-ups on stage.
Push
I
up.
know. He's just show
Yeah, I'm
off.
working on the one-handed push-ups. All right.
Oh, Apollo, huh?
We working.
Well, listen, you guys are awesome. And I know we have a lot of people tuning in that are from the Disco Cruise. And those folks, obviously, if we're speaking just from the charter cruises, those are our folks that know you the best. But we also have folks tuning in who are fans of other cruises who haven't necessarily seen you. So Apollo, asking you, what is your elevator pitch? If someone was said to you, who is this Boogie Wonder Band? How would you give a quick sell about what you guys are as a unit?
Okay. I would say elevator pitch. Oh, this is good. All right. I would say if you're ready to dance and party, 90 minutes, nonstop, no breaks, full throttle. If you are ready, that's what we're about. The energy's
Great
not gonna
pitch.
drop. That's my job. I want you to move for 90 minutes. You can consider it a workout if you like. It's good enough. If you give your all, I'll give my all. You give your all. It's good enough. 90 minutes nonstop. You're gonna get it straight to the head, straight to the heart. We're coming for you. That's my job on stage. I want to look in your eyes and I want to make sure you're ready and you understand what we're doing. And we're here to have fun. 90 minutes nonstop. Sometimes 2 hours. You know, 120. We can go 120 if you need to go 120.
I don't know that anyone can handle that. That's the disco music is big and powerful, and it's just that it's funny because you guys have probably seen. I mean, well, you guys do a lot more than the Disco Cruise, but speaking specifically of the Disco Cruise, it's funny to watch a crowd, right? You know, I was talking to Casey of Casey and the Sunshine Band, and I was saying that when I am watching a show, regardless of who it is, I kind of watch the entertainer, but I usually know what the entertainer is going to do for the most part. We don't hire entertainers that we're hoping bring it. We trust you guys to bring it. What I do watch is audience reaction. I like to find a spot where people can't necessarily see me, but I'm watching how crowds respond.
Okay.
And there's a limit, right? There's a point where you see people gasp. They're just like, I can't. And they start to shut down in your show, not because they're tired of your show, but because you guys have ran them hard. You've run them hard, and they're an hour in, and they're just like, oh my God, how much more? But then you play another banger hit, and they're like, okay, one more, and they get back up, and okay, that's it. Okay, no, one more. It's hilarious to watch people, regardless if they're 25 or 65, they're all kids, right? They're all they're all that mentality of just go, 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 go. That's a great pitch. I would second that pitch, having had you guys on our cruises. We were talking about this before we jumped on. We do end of cruise surveys for everybody. All the guests get them, and they fill out who their favorite bands are and who they want to see back next year. And I was saying this to you guys, and I mean this wholeheartedly. One of the vice presidents is Janine, who I work very closely with. And the senior vice president, who is Alan Rubens.
Alan,
Alan, you guys know Alan real well.
Yes.
When we were building these cruises, you know, we're bringing in pieces and we try to fit things. It's not just bring any group in, bring any artist in. We want it to be cohesive to a certain extent.
Yes.
Obviously. So we asked the guests, who do you guys want to see next year? And for 2 years running, you guys have been at the top of the list. 2 years running.
Nice.
Yeah, 2 years running. Boogie Wonder Band is either one or two in
Thanks to the
bands
fan.
that disco wants to see back. So
It's the fan.
it is the fans, but you know what I hope you can hear in that is also when we throw a disco cruise, these aren't just people who like music. These are people who are willing to pay very hard-earned money and time to come out and be a part of something, meaning they are true fans, right? They're not just music fans, they're disco fans. And for you guys to rank high on their list every time, those are people who don't pull any punches. They have no problems going, they weren't as good as we wanted them to be. They'll tell us that. They're an honest music fan.
Yeah.
And you guys continue to blow them away. You continue to deliver a product that is you know, bar none, some of the best we have. when you are working to build, and I'm going to use the word product, whether it's your stage show or, you know, a set list, you guys are building different set lists and different styles of shows, from costuming all the way down to choreography, all the way down the list. Who takes, is it a collective movement? Does one person run one bit and another, and then you try to bring them together? Tell us a little bit about the process of
Boogie
creating.
Cindy can tell you that.
Sure. Go ahead, Boogie Cindy.
Well, it's a lot of years in the process. So of course, things that we have built because we play so much, and we can try and test. Sometimes, like for the cruise, we built this medley specifically last year, and we finished the medley with the Rock the Boat. And we never played it live before, so that was a first for us because we were testing it. At the same time, we were hoping for the reaction.
Yeah, right.
But usually we play all over the world, and we play for different audiences, and sometimes we see what works and what doesn't. And,
was that a gig offering? Did someone just text you a gig offer right during this? They heard Apollo's. Yeah, they heard Apollo's 30-second elevator pitch, and they were like, "We gotta get them right now."
So like we play. For example, we have this medley that starts with "Raining Men." It's very high energy, and we know exactly when we hit that. It lasts for 15 minutes, and this is like we take
it's
it
a banger.
all.
Yeah.
So I would say that, yeah.
And how do you guys decide? How do you decide what your set list is going to be? Is it collective again, or how do you guys sit around and even decide what you're going to play? If I said a 60-minute set, obviously, if you have the ability to play 2 hours, you've got to bring it in.
We have over 5 hours at least of disco songs.
Right.
And
that's a lot.
The guy who does the set list is not here right now. It's our guitar player, but
he's doing the set list for
next year already.
He's building next year's disco set list at the moment.
Exactly.
Now, is there, what happens if Stardust says, we don't do this song, I really want to do this song? You guys seem like a group that gets along really well, that obviously plays really well together. I assume there's some freedom for each person to have something that they'd really like for the group or themselves that you can work with.
Oh, sometimes I ask, can you put this song because my mom is in the audience or something? Yeah. She want to hear me sing "Don't Leave Me This Way." So yeah, sometimes we do some change, and we're very like getting along super well. So there's no big deal with it.
Yeah, we leave it open sometimes because it's happened that like you'll do a first half of the show, and then you can kind of see the energy of the crowd or where they're leaning or what are the hits, what are the ones maybe that you didn't like so much. Like you'll see that with funk and disco a little bit, see where the crowd leans. And some nights we'll have like maybe 2 open to like, if the crowd is really digging this part of the show, then we're going to end off with this. So we'll do another one.
That's it.
We kind of feel like the crowd, a little bit, usually near the end of the show, because that's where we can kind of make a decision where it's moving. So,
yeah, it's a good point.
A little bit of a spontaneity.
Yeah.
We think as a fan too,
Yeah.
We think I'm a fan of disco. What we don't think about us first. We think for the fans first.
For the disco cruise, we decided to never play the same song twice, except our original Almighty. But we tried to do, like for this year, we had the opening party, the sail away. So we wanted to do something super high energy. It was outside. And then there was a Saturday night fever party where we tried to put more Bee Gees, and the last night in the club upstairs.
Yep.
Constellation. Yeah, exactly.
We decided to do a very funk oriented set.
Yeah,
so the fans that came for the 3 show, they never heard the same song. So
yeah,
and that's very cool. And you should be. I was going to say you should be very proud of that. Disco is it's not the broadest range of music in the world, right? It's not. You don't have thousands and thousands of songs to choose from. You have a lot, but you don't just have this unlimited repertoire. It's not like rock where you can really go, to the deep ends. You've got a lot of different styles of disco. There's the New York club disco. There's the pop disco. There's European disco. but still you only have so far you can go. So it's one of the things we love about you definitely on the cruises is exactly what you're talking about, which is, you know, you remain unique. Every show stands on its own, which is important because that way, you know, and I'm gonna use horrible terms, but when we program, we can utilize you in a way where we know if you play an evening by the pool and a day by the pool and then another venue, we know it's going to be different shows.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're not putting you against things where, you know, well, half the guests already saw them. Nobody's, because it's a different set, no one has seen you. They saw a show, but they didn't see you.
And
You know
did
what I
you
mean?
know? Did you know the last night we had the brass from UGO joining us on stage?
Yes.
Yeah.
There was
Actually,
Sax, trombone.
yeah. Listen, UGO is a huge fan of you guys. So Henry McMillian, who's the leader of UGO, who's the you know, Big Henry on trumpet. After the first disco cruise, and Henry takes a lot of pride in what he does, and deservedly so. You know, he runs UGO, and they're a fantastic band.
Yeah.
They do Soul Train, they do disco, they do, you know, different cruises with us. They back all these major headliners. They're phenomenal. And Henry takes a lot of pride. If we say, Henry, what do you think we should put UGO? UGO can do it. Put us there, right? He takes a lot of pride like that, which I admire. After the first disco cruise, Henry came to Alan and Janine and I and said, Boogie Wonder Band has to be the sail of it. They have to be the first show we do.
Nice.
He loves
you, Henry.
He saw you guys on the first cruise. He saw you guys on the first cruise, and literally we talked about it right when the cruise ended. He's like, they have to be the first show that everyone sees. The choreography, the energy, the costuming, you really embody what the disco cruise is all about. So know that it's beyond just the fans. It's the other artists as well that recognize what you guys bring. Absolutely. For guests that are watching that don't know, obviously we detect a little bit of an accent around the room. Where are you guys stationed? Yeah, just a little. Where are you guys? Where's Boogie Wonder Band from collectively?
We are based in Montreal, so that's why I'm speaking French, you know. So that's why.
Nous vous aimons. Nous vous aimons.
No, you sound beautiful. You sound beautiful. But...
Merci, Jason.
See what I mean?
Are all of you guys up in Montreal area?
We are based in Montreal.
We're based in Montreal. Our manager is coming from New Jersey, so he brought the American swag.
Ah, yes.
Yes, he say hi to you. Michael wasn't your to you, Jason.
Says hi.
Oh, send our hellos back, please.
Okay.
And for how big is the band? How many members of the band in total?
10-piece band.
And when was the band established? When did the idea for Boogie Wonder Band first come to be?
Well, our first show was January 8, 1996. So you do the math.
96? Yeah, that's 24 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And is it the same lineup now that it's always been, or how much change have you had in terms of the 10 artists?
Almost. Well, I would say half of the band.
Yeah.
I was there from the beginning.
Attaboy. That's cool.
Not me, I'm too young.
Clearly, yes. You're only 20 years old, so you couldn't have been there for 24 years.
-4.
Yeah. I couldn't have.
Boogie started all. She started all with Michael Weisinger. Yeah, they had this brilliant idea of the Boogie Wonder Band, a 10-piece band, and they brought it up and all the story. It was like an amazing idea, but everybody was doubting at the time because they used to see like a big 10-piece band, like more like a smaller band was more popular, but at that time they had this idea, oh, we're gonna be 10 on stage. Everybody was like, no, it's not gonna work, and they were keeping going.
Everybody.
So we fool everybody.
What gave you the idea? What made you even think? Was it disco related from the beginning, or it was?
Always.
So
Always.
in 96, I mean, disco's never gone anywhere, but disco wasn't exactly at its pinnacle of popularity.
No,
so
it was not very popular.
what gave you the idea that this is going to be something fun and good to do?
Well, you know, I play the bass, so I guess I discovered the disco through the bass groups, and I was looking at all those 70s bands, and I was like, that's so cool. I want to be. I'm in the wrong era. I want to play bass with Ohio players, you know. So I thought, you know, I had like a vision. I would see costumes and high energy and big bands. You know, we have no sequence on stage. It's all live.
Yeah.
That's why we're so many of us too,
Yeah.
you know, to get the sound. And we even do a version of this show sometimes with a full symphonic orchestra. So that's even,
Wow.
yeah.
Interesting. You
Yeah, that'd be.
must
that'd
see
be
that, Jason.
fascinating. Yeah, we would have to. I would like to see that. That'd be
On
fascinating.
the big stage, that could be fun. Huh?
100
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
Ooh. Now we're talking.
Check that off. And in the beginning, so when you're starting out, how do you sell it? I mean, we heard Apollo's, you know, elevator pitch, which was perfect. But in the beginning, when disco is not exactly, again, it's not gone anywhere. I'm certainly not saying disco's ever gone anywhere, but it wasn't at the height of its popularity in the late 90s.
No.
It's really had a bigger reemergence lately over the past, 5-10 years. But how do you sell people? How do you sell venues on hiring you guys at that time?
Well,
I mean, excuse me, Boogie Sandy. I mean, at that time, I remember the first show. It was like so magical, like the something happened in the crowd, like something that you cannot really explain. And
Disco music.
right after that, everybody was talking about it, and it became like a
Bouche à oreille.
snowball.
word of mouth.
Yeah.
So, and it was really easy after that to go in venues because the name, they were talking about it really, really super fast, and I became big really, really fast, you know.
That's right.
And did you start mostly Montreal local area before moving out, or did you start to branch out pretty
Well,
quick?
you know, we did maybe like the first year we did about 95 shows.
It's a lot of shows.
95.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot.
And then the second year we did like almost 200. So it was
Yeah, I feel you, Apollo. I feel you.
it was a
Yeah.
big word of mouth, and you know,
Okay.
it took almost no time, and that's before, 24 years ago you didn't have all those social media. So
Yeah.
we got very lucky. Our first show was on TV, national TV, and people talked about it, and we started to do all those clubs. We would do every Monday at one place, every Sunday one place, and then it's just exploded. We were asked to do like some shows in the States, and we started to play in the States a lot. So
Yeah, we had a lot of big following,
Especially in Atlantic City, it became our second home, you know.
Nice.
Atlantic City.
Now, and when you go from 95 shows to 200 shows, I don't know. It's hard for people that don't do shows that don't do concerts and have a number of gigs. People don't understand, right? You said 200 shows a year. Well, what'd you do the other 165? It's not like that, right? People they don't necessarily.
Going to the gig.
Exactly. People don't always get that one gig often, or a weekend gig or whatever it is. There's travel to, there's travel from, there's production, there's setup, there's breakdown. People don't always understand the how massive a production can be, especially with a 10-piece group, and you guys are all live. I mean, that's a lot of moving pieces. That's a lot, literally and figuratively. 200 shows, that's a lot. Is that still what you guys try to do?
Well, I would say we're maybe a little bit less. Maybe we're around 100 shows, but now we're older.
You're only 20,
we need our
Sandy.
sleep. But we travel with our crew too. That we didn't have that back then. We have our in-ear monitoring, we have our sound engineer, we have our monitor, and all things that make it easier for us to really concentrate on the essential, which is the show.
Sure.
Yeah.
And do you guys do you do individual things as well, or collectively are you always a group? I mean, Apollo, do you go off and do solo gigs, and do all of you have other do you have other performing gigs, or is it always together as a group?
Pretty much always together, which what makes it cool. It's like a mini family. It's like a second family here, so it's
my friend.
So we don't get along. We're not getting along.
Yeah. Well, that's what family is, right? That's what family is.
And we miss each other so much. I mean, I miss being stuck in a van with my band.
Yeah.
Listen, you love each other if you miss things like being stuck in a van together.
Yeah,
if you can miss the travel aspect of being a band, then you get along.
It means, it means.
95% of the job is being in somewhere.
Exactly.
You never know until it's gone. Jeez.
Amen to that.
But you know, like after the first year, I wanted to say that to you, Jason, because after the first year, we had all those shows around the States and in Europe, and at every show we did, there was somebody in the crowd that was on the cruise, and they came up with their T-shirts on.
Yeah.
And
It's true.
It was
That's
so
awesome.
nice.
We spot them while I was singing. I was like spotting the T-shirts. I was like, oh, and then waving at people, and it's so cool.
That is cool. Actually, let's talk about that for a second. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, you're ready. I like it.
He's prepped. Attaboy, Eddie. Let's actually talk about the cruise for a second. Obviously, when we were first doing it, Star Vista Live, everything starts with an idea. Disco is not a new idea. Disco's been around for, 50 years. But the idea of a disco cruise was new. And our senior vice president, the executive producer, Alan, kind of was plugging away at it and playing with it. And we were talking about acts. And then, you hire your main stages, and then you start to fill the rest of it. Talk a little bit about how we contacted you and how that came to be in the beginning, Cindy or whoever.
Interesting.
Oh, go, Eddie, go.
Check this out.
Let's go, Cindy. You can do it.
Well, I don't know. Well, we were contacted because from an agent in New York, but then we had like about 4 agents contacting us all for the same.
Yeah.
And, we really wanted to do it because we had seen the Soul Train cruise, which we wanted to be on as well. Anyway, but but then, when the disco cruise came, we were like, oh, we have to be on. Hopefully they will pick us. So. And
what did you think with that first experience? And I'm not just asking that, I'm not trying to patronize. Obviously the cruise is a lot of fun, but when you get on, it's a unique experience. Every artist kind of looks at it a little differently, but we're on for 5 days, all these different entertainers and acts and people that are fans of each other. And then you have 2,000, 1,900 actual fans, people that just love the music. Tell us a little bit about what it's like to be on the cruise as an entertainer.
I would say, as an entertainer, first of all, it's awesome. We look forward to the cruise. Every year I'm like, oh, when is the cruise? How many months, how many days, how many hours to the cruise? It's like, because usually for us, like Boogie Wonder Bands, you can't control who comes to the shows.
Yeah.
But there's something about on the cruise, it's like as if we were able to curate the perfect fans and the perfect crowd to come to the shows.
Handpick them all, yeah.
It's like a buffet of only the perfect fans. And then you get to play for them every night. Because especially like, it's my job to make sure you're having a good time. But there's not much work. I could just have fun.
It's easier. It feels easier sometimes.
Depending on where you go, we go around the States, Canada, we've got different countries, Europe a bit. And you kind of always have to fill out the crowd and kind of play to their likings a bit. So usually it's me trying to figure, okay, what is the crowd into? What can I say to get them into it? How can I connect with them? I don't have to worry about any of that. I can just let that part go because people are ready to go, and I love it. For me, at least for me, it makes my job easier. It makes the job so much more fun. So every show, I'm like, let's give it to them 60 minutes, exactly what they want. I don't got to worry about the details. So I love it. It's like, it's great. The crowd makes it kind of reminds you of why you do it,
Yeah.
Every once in a while, you have a crowd that's a bit tougher, and it's still fun.
Sure.
But when you have that perfect crowd, it's like, oh, this is why we do this.
Yeah.
So it's cool. That's what I would say.
Exactly. Yeah.
Benny, how about you?
Good call. Sorry?
I was saying, Benny, how about you, Benny? You feeling the same way?
Yeah, exactly. It's like a kind of, I don't know, it's like a kind of magic, I would say, when we're on the cruise, because everybody's just digging what we're doing, whatever we're doing on stage. They see the costume, they see the choreographies, and we play those good tunes. They're just like, give it to us, give it to us, give it to us, and we
give me more.
Yeah, it's like, it's easier. I don't want to say easier because we're always working hard on stage, but it's, I'm with Apollo on this one.
Listen, I hear you completely. You know, my job obviously as the face and voice and the guy that goes out in front of all the shows and introduces all the acts.
Yeah,
to
you're
your-
so good, by the way. You're amazing, man.
Thank you very much.
No, it's not a joke. You're amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man, very much. But to your guys' point about it being easier, if I'm selling a product to someone that I have to sell a product to that doesn't necessarily know if they want it or not, it's a different sell. If I'm selling a product where the audience or the person I'm selling to wants the product and the product I'm selling is a good product, it's a cakewalk, right? It doesn't mean that the product can't be good. The product still has to be good. You as the artist, whoever that artist is, has to be great. But the person we're selling to is just yes, I want yes. Right?
Exactly.
So to your guys' point, it is easier in that way, in that, you know, we're walking out and we're performing for people that want nothing more in the world than to be there for 5 days of that. And it does. It makes it easier in the sell of it. You know, there's very few people, and I think a lot of musicians that haven't done a themed cruise, or performers in general that haven't done a themed cruise. You touched on it a minute ago, Apollo. You know, when you guys perform at, you know, Theater A, wherever that is, you can't control who's there. You know, if there's a crowd of 1,000 people, you know, a percentage of them love Boogie Wonder Band, a percentage of them don't know you guys but love disco, a percentage of them love music in general, a percentage of them are there with their significant other, they don't really want to be there anyway, a percentage, you know, right, there's a different percentage of each thing, and not every one of them they're all different. They're all a little different, just a little different. On the cruises, whether it's Soul Train or disco or country or, you know, whatever it is, everyone is there for one main reason, and that's that music. You know, the bands may differ and you may have a favorite or, you know, a whatever, but at the end of the day, it's still that music that they're there for. So as you guys travel around the world, and I know you guys performed a lot of different places, where are some of your favorites? Where do you look forward to, whether it's a recurring gig or not?
Just the cruise.
Other than the cruise, no more cruise. Can't take the cruise. Can't take the cruise.
You should say that first.
Yeah, I should have led with that. Yeah.
Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Son.
Connecticut.
That's another good point. It's the energy is different, but it's good. We're always well received there. That's like it feels almost like a second home. We're there a few times a year. Love it.
Vegas.
Oh yeah, Vegas.
Yeah, Las Vegas was but when we went in France was like
France.
this crowd was like, oh my God, they never saw a show like us, and what we were seeing like in the eyes of every single person was like, oh my G, you know, it's like,
remember Stardust? Do you remember Stardust in India too? India was the same, huh?
India was special.
What's it like doing a disco show in India? That seems like it would be a unique production.
You know, their production was pretty up the roof. You know, we were expecting nothing.
Sure.
But the stage and the gear was like, whoa.
Was it a one-off show, or was it a festival, or what were you performing?
It was part of a festival.
Was it a disco festival?
No, but we were the disco show.
The disco version.
You know, they don't know, like when we go from a country to another, sometimes they don't know the same songs. Even for us, when we play in Montreal and when we play in New York City, it's people are fans of different songs. So in India, they were fans of ABBA and Bonnie M. So
Bonnie M. Rasputin works. Wow.
It's funny how that works, isn't it? How I was having this conversation again with another artist about how unique it is with it, depending on where you go in the world. There's such a thing as a regional hit, you know, hits that were very big in areas but weren't globally big, or even weren't big on the other one town over. May not be that big, but in certain cities you have regional hits, and they can be monster hits, just very small areas. And it's, you know, to your point, you know, they want ABBA and Bonnie M, you know, and that's their...
When we play like in Montreal, if you play like funk music, Rick James and stuff like that, people like, they don't have any idea. They don't know Rick James. It's unbelievable. But not all of people, but
sure, I get it. And so when you're Cindy, do you do most of the bookings, or you work directly with your manager, right?
No, we work with different agencies.
You do.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah,
mean,
we don't have time.
bless you.
We don't have time for the booking. We have time to play and learn songs.
Which is all the guests benefit directly from that. All your fans benefit directly from that. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
because the fans know all the chart. You must play the right thing, man. Oh,
you know,
especially on the cruise.
I love that you said that, Eddie. I love that you said that, because we talk, again, that's another conversation I have with a lot of these major artists, right? You know, the Jacksons, and I just talked about it with the Jackson brothers, that, you know, they've been upper tier A-list artists. They're the first family of music and have been so since, you know, for 50 years, right? They're the Jacksons. Even they don't get forgiven if they go out and play one of their classics wrong, or, you know, different or younger,
different sound, you know.
Yeah, they were talking about how you know, they were even saying, they're like, if we play ABC, it better sound just like ABC, because it's the Jacksons playing ABC, but it still better be the ABC they remember, know, and love. You don't get to just go out and play a different version of it. They're like, even us. So it's interesting as a band that, you know, you guys aren't a tribute band, but you know, you're paying tribute in a lot of ways with disco era music. You're exactly right. And we hear it. Trust me, those fans let us know.
Oh yeah.
We've had artists.
Big respect for them. Big respect for everything. And you know, I said to you, we built our set. We think as a fan, but when we urge, we think as a fan too. We must put like a ring my bell. Boo! Boo! If there is no syndrome there, I will have a comment.
Yeah. Like the record, right?
Anyways, it's our work to recreate.
Yeah.
You know, it's and it's so funny to see all those overdub, you know, and excuse me, Stardust.
Same thing when I go see a show, like let's say when we were to Vegas, we went to see Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
And I know by heart the solo.
Oh yeah.
I don't want him to change a line. I mean, I'm there to hear the solo, you know.
Yeah.
So.
David Gilmour played the wrong solo of the wall. Hey, come on.
Yeah, it's fascinating, right? Because I think because music is so transcendent, you know, because music is something that means something unique to all of us. It might be a loving song. It might be a sad song. It might be a happy song. Every song can mean something a little different. But if it's a song that you've known or an artist you've known, it often does mean something to you. You know, it means something. So to change it even a little bit, which artists have the right to do, it's their song. But if you change it, right, you're flirting with my memory now. You're flirting with to me in that moment, and that can be tricky. I may not want it. Like I may want to hear the way I remember it, in the way, you know, it means something to me. Well, that's cool that you guys spend a lot of attention and time on that, Eddie. You're saying that, you know,
because of them we are there, you know.
Yeah. Are there any artists? Let's go around the room a little bit. Apollo, who are your artists? Your artists. It doesn't have to be just disco, but man, who's in your upper tier? Yeah, who's in your upper tier?
Top tier.
Yeah.
I mean, you say the Jacksons, but everyone says the Jacksons. I'm not really original, you know. But of course, you know, you think of Michael Jackson.
Sure.
I have all the tapes. I read Bob the Bomb,
Nice.
all that stuff. But I gotta say, I had a resurgence waking up like a little bit older, like really diving into music. High school is that time where it's like you just got to do what's cool, right? There's not very much exploring. But after you get out of that, you know, you find yourself a little bit. Then I start to go back into the history of music, you know, and then I've started to fall in love with like Shalimar.
Yeah,
I love that. I love the tunes; they are smooth. I love the show on the cruise. That was my jam. I said I need Shalimar.
I need Shalimar.
I'd love to see it. I love the tunes. That was my thing. So if I got to think of one group where I really love their songs and they hit me, Shalimar.
Oh,
good answer. A, B, you don't have to pick one group, by the way. I'm not making you guys do the whole single out thing, but I appreciate that, Apollo. Boogie, Cindy, I'm going down to you. Who's in your upper tier of artists?
It's so hard.
I know, that's why I'm not making you pick just one. I'm just,
I would say maybe Chic because I really like the bass player Bernard
Yeah.
Edwards. And I would say, it's so hard. I love them all. I guess maybe Michael Jackson.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with picking things that are.
Sorry,
obvious.
Apollo, I copy you.
Yeah.
Was the first.
Cindy's like Shalimar. Eddie, what about you? Who's in your upper tier, man?
It must be a disco thing or no?
No, just yours, just your personal, like when you
Neil Peart
Neil Peart.
of Rush.
Yeah.
Hey, come on. This is my man. Whoa. We just lost him
I know.
a couple months ago, and
I know.
it makes me realize it's because of him I play music.
That's wonderful.
Moving picture changed my life. I'm not the only one, but you asked me, so yeah. This guy was a real rocker, tasty, energetic, original,
Yeah.
sensible, and he was playing like an ass,
Yeah, good answer. No, I'll take it.
Sorry, my
I'll
English
take
is good.
No, you're perfect, man. You're perfect.
Thank you, Neil.
Chop, what about you, bro?
Well, that's a great question, man. I'm not sure. Obviously, I studied jazz music at Montreal University.
Why is that obvious? Why should that be obvious? Why is that the obvious?
I don't know.
Obviously, I studied jazz. That's why I'm in disco bands.
I don't know. I guess when you go to study music at
Sure.
a school, there's
Sure.
always the classic
Yes.
way and jazz. So I guess funk and disco will be played by the ones that study jazz.
Yeah.
So I guess a lot of big bands, the jazz big bands are my great influences. If I think about trumpet players in particular, I would say Wayne Bergeron. I don't know if you know this guy. Great lead players in Los Angeles.
Yep.
In the high school, this is the one that I listened to, and I said, I want to lead trumpet like this guy. He's just a beast. This is if I go more disco, I would say Earth, Wind and Fire because of the brass. Yeah, Earth, Wind and
I was
Fire
just gonna say you're leaning brass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rick James has some really good stuff and hard stuff too that I like. And which one I could say? I don't know.
Interesting. The big bands, though. I like that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's so
really
unique.
Big part.
It's so unique, right? I mean, every person, kind of is drawn to different styles and types and what influences them. Stardust.
Oh, me? Oh, yeah.
Wait, oh, me? What, you didn't think I was coming to you? You thought you were just going to get out of this? Oh, me? Oh.
You were passing. It's very large, but I really want to be friends with Dave Grohl. I mean,
I want to be friends with Dave Grohl.
My dream to sing a song with him. Anyway, so I like to rock the stage, so I'm like in the rock thing, but also
Say the truth.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
I
it's right.
have the pipes of Ariana Grande, of course. She's like a killer singer. I mean, and I really appreciate her. I don't know if you know about it.
Of course, yes.
And César. I don't know how you pronounce it really. César.
César?
Yes.
Okay, no. Who is your number one? Stop holding back.
Stardust, say the truth.
Oh, Stardust.
Oh,
you've
my
been put on
number one is
blast.
Celine Dion, of
Ah.
Thank you. No lies here. This is an honest place.
No. She's like, who am I supposed to say? I'm supposed to say. All of your band members were looking at you on camera going, girl, what? Why? Why you lying?
None of those.
Jason, we played for Celine Dion birthday party.
Fourth time?
Yeah, we played for her 4 times.
Fourth time, yeah.
That's
now
kind
she
of that.
recognized me on, like, when she seen me, like, she said, hey, hi, Stardust. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, she cried every time. 4 times. You played for her 4 times. She cried 4 times.
Stardust just got so animated when you brought that up. How does that come to be? How do you book that gig? How do you get in with Celine Dion's birthday party?
Well, we were hired for our 30th anniversary party here in Montreal.
Yeah.
By,
And,
I mean, just management, or, you know, was it just one of those things where they were looking for people, or how did you
she's
get
a
in?
fan. She's a real fan of Boogie Wonder Band.
Of
Yeah.
course she is. Why wouldn't she be?
And
Heard
then
about us.
we played for her in Las Vegas for at the end of one of her tour, and we did another rap party here in Montreal, and we
That's
played at a
amazing.
golf club. Yeah. So
That's amazing. That's a testament. You know, I know you guys are proud of what you do, but, you know, we've been talking about this a little bit in terms of the cruises, and, you know, when other artists recognize, artists are often fans of other artists. It's not unheard of. It's very common, but it's different when an artist can appreciate you on that level, especially an artist of, look at Stardust. Stardust is about to cry right now, especially with an artist of, you know, Celine Dion. I mean, you're talking about upper echelon of, you know, the musicians the world has ever seen. That's a huge testament to you guys as a group. I mean,
Yeah,
yes.
she climbed on stage and sang with me. She sang like the song, ooh la la la, and then she did ooh la 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 ha. She did that.
it's true. I was there. It's true.
Oh my gosh. I think we've made, Stardust has just turned into a 12-year-old girl. It just happened in front of us. She's saying, oh,
What is-
Eddie.
Oh, that's me and Celine.
Is it?
No!
It is.
That's awesome. I love that you didn't lead with her. Stardust, who do you look up to? Oh, so-and-so, so-and-so.
Oh, that girl.
Yeah, Ariana Grande. Nothing wrong with any of those people, but now look at you. Now look at you over there, sweating, getting all excited, playing with your hair.
And you know what? Stardust, invite Celine to sing with her. Ooh la la la.
Yes.
She's just a dirt.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry, I wasn't there.
Eddie was getting signed pictures back there. So let's talk a little bit about, obviously this is a crazy time we're all living in right now with COVID-19 and all the social distancing, and as entertainers, you know, it's tough. You guys have had a lot of gigs postponed and probably canceled and pushed back, and, you know, you've not lost, but you've certainly lost for the time being, you know, a few months. How do you, and anyone other than drinking wine, like Stardust is just hammering it back there. Get it, girl, get it. How do you mentally cope with not being able to be on stage, which is, you know, performing for you guys is such an art, and it's obviously a big part of your lives. How do you get through it mentally? What's going on right now in your heads?
I mean, I would say for me, like, you know, it's weird at first because then I think when it started, you're like, okay, no, it'll just be a couple of weeks. Oh, no, just be a month or two.
Yeah.
And now you don't really know when we're going to get back to it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like a beautiful, terrible thing in the sense of, you know, my heart goes out to everyone affected and everything else. But for us who just have to sacrifice in terms of the quarantine, it's kind of an element to get back to basics. You know, there's a lot of stuff, like even just at my home, you know, I produce a lot as well. So it was the ability to go back, work on your craft a bit more. You know, even when it comes to singing, there's certain things that, like, you know, when you're on the road so much, so many shows, it's hard to always pay, like, attention to the fine details.
Yeah.
I've had the ability to go back with the fine details because you have nothing but time and there's no excuses about how busy you are now. So that's been the beautiful part, is that I've been able to work on these little minute details that it's always like, oh, I wish I can get to that. I wish I had the time to get to that, just in my artistry, the stuff that we love. And I've been able to get to that. So, I mean, that's what's been fun here. And so my attention has been kept on just like, you know what, maybe the stage can be there. But when we get the stage back, I'm going to lose my mind. I've already told myself I will be jumping. I will be running in circles. And I who knows it. I'm going to lose my mind when I get back on that stage. And I'm planning to come on 10 times better than before. So that's what keeps me going and excited.
You're recording, huh? You're recording now?
Oh yeah, I'm recording all this. Oh
I
yeah,
will
yeah.
be nuts. March.
Amazing. Good to know, my Polo.
How about you, Stardust? Other than wine, how are you keeping busy and how you staying focused during this time?
Well, I'm pretty lucky because I'm fully equipped home, so I can still sing. You know, so sometimes when I really need to express myself or let it out, I'm like my piano in the back and
Yeah.
have microphones, so I can do my craft here home. So. But other than that, I'm having fun cooking, and I'm because I'm not often at home. I have the chance now to look outside and see birds. I'm freaking out on birds. I see them now.
What are these flappy things? Oh, they're birds.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I try to learn their name, and I'm freaking out. I'm giving them foods and stuff.
A new passion.
Yeah, she's actually named them herself. That one is Celine.
He's
sorry,
not
Yonda.
on pitch.
Yeah, I don't know what tweeting that bird
This
is
one
doing.
is not on pitch.
We have to talk about that bird. Eddie, what about you, man? How are you staying busy?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm doing so well. Right? I'm speaking for myself. Right at the beginning, I knew it will be long. It will be really long. So I changed my mind completely, like in a couple of days. Of course, there's a good and bad days, like everybody.
Yeah.
But I knew right at the beginning it was so. I plan thing. Like I bring my perk setup at my place. I set up my things. I call my fans, man, right away. Messenger, 2 a day, two fans a day. I'm surprising them,
This guy.
That's cool.
And
Overachiever down there. Look at the overachiever.
I love my fans. Our fans, sorry.
That's awesome.
So I can play music too at home. All my things. I write a couple songs.
You got a lot
bicycle,
going on, Good for you.
Speaking to Cindy each day, we planning what we gonna do, which is like with the backline, the first rehearsal we're gonna do. We planning stuff. We working on the set list. And
Very
I'm
cool.
gonna pass the ball to Cindy. Maybe.
Yeah. Go ahead, Cindy.
She,
Cindy, the ball's been passed to you.
Woo! Well, I play bass every day. I think I'm learning every disco songs ever. So that, and lucky enough, in this, our last show was close to Montreal, and there was so many fans there, and it's this place called Chez Maurice we played, and it's there was so many people that came on a cruise from Canada who came to Chez Maurice, and France Jolie was there, and she joined us on stage.
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah.
So the last memory of the last show memory is priceless. So at least we're floating with that. It could have been the cruise too, but so
very cool. Benny, ball is yours. How are we staying busy during this time, my man?
As Apollo said, I'm trying to stay in shape on the horn because the trumpet is a monster.
That's a beast.
As you may know, it is a monster. It's a kind of thing. So if you lay it in the case for 2 days, you're done. You're done for a week.
You can fall out real fast, right? I mean, you can fall out of shape in that regard. Quickly.
I love the trumpet, but I hate that aspect. But so I try to keep me busy with it, and I just tried to start my own home studio too. So a bit of microphone and sound car engineering and trying to record myself for different projects. It's hard. I got a lot of friends who do this all day long, and I'm 25. I just turned 25, and I didn't really did that before. So I'm like, oh, I have to do this right now. I have to to learn it. This is the time for it, you know. And it's hard. It's hard for me. I'm not a super like computer guy, so I'm trying to find my way into that home studio thing. Yeah.
That's good though. I mean, you know, I think that, you know, and Apollo kind of touched on it in the beginning there. Two things. One, you know, everyone that's ever said anything but has followed it with the phrase, "But I don't have time."
Yeah.
Two things come of that. You either realize, okay, I do have time and I can do it now, or you're still telling yourself you don't want to do it, which means you've been lying to yourself forever. Not you, Benny, but right? Because people are going, "Oh, I would run every day if I had time. I would work out every day if I had time." Now they have time and they're still going, "Well, I don't right? I don't have time." But yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You just never prioritized it. You know, and that's the wording that exactly. That's the wording that my wife and I try to use with everything is prioritizing. As you know, I've just never prioritized it. And we all have that for good and bad reasons. And there's things that shouldn't have been prioritized and you were being honest about. And then there's things that you've been dishonest with yourself about and you just never prioritized because you didn't want to do it. But the
laziness.
It's just laziness, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone has that. There's, you know, that's certainly not an individual trait that any one person, you know, has by themselves. But this is obviously, it's providing everybody an opportunity to focus on things like that. You know, to your point, Chop Shop, you have an opportunity, right? Where maybe you're not the best at computers or this isn't your forte, but you have an opportunity right now with very few distractions to focus in and learn what you need to learn and do that. I think that's very admirable. And I think that's very admirable. It's a very cool thing.
By the way,
go ahead, Eddie.
You must follow Boogie Cindy YouTube channel.
Yeah, she mentioned that. I mean, she's just started her YouTube channel.
Oh, you didn't. Why didn't you mention that?
It's amazing, man. It's amazing.
Why didn't you mention that?
Check that out.
I can't believe that she didn't mention it.
Now we got to mention
really
it.
Humble, you know.
Now we got it. She is very humble. Now tell us about it, Cindy. What's this YouTube? What's going on here?
Yeah, it's a very simple thing. It's called Behind the Groove, and it's just me exploring the disco songs, but through their bass lines. It's for bass nerds, you know.
Listen.
No.
There's lots of music files out there. Yeah.
Everybody.
And how do they find you? We're gonna run it at the bottom here. How do they find you?
Oh no.
Aha.
Yeah. How do they find you?
Well, it's Boogie Cindy. That's all.
Okay.
You should find me.
But you're going to be doing them somewhat regularly. Is this something that people can find?
Well, I do them once a week for now, you know, because I have time and it's a good way for me to keep in shape. I learned those very complicated bass line and, you know.
That's awesome.
Good job, Boogie Cindy.
Well,
inspiration.
We'll have people, certainly people are tuning into this YouTube channel. They can certainly just bop right over from this to YouTube and check out yours. And before we go though, you guys are doing other cool stuff. And we're actually going to show it here at the end of the interview. You also are doing collective concerts individually from your own venues. Apollo, you are front and center on You Should Be Dancing. Tell us a little bit about that.
It was fun. We're just, I guess, like everyone was saying, just embracing the having to be quarantined and not looking at it as a bad thing. I know some people are just losing their minds now. You know, it's like after a month, 2 months, you're like, okay, I think I'm ready to get out. You know, it's us like just having fun while we're here. You know, that's it.
That's cool. And listen, we're going to go take a look at that in just a second here when we sign off. But before we do, and I'm not going to make you do it individually because that can be tricky, but if any of you have anything you want to share with either your fans or the Star Vista Live Disco Cruise fans or the fans in general, a lot of people are obviously going through a little bit of something right now. And Apollo, you mentioned it a moment ago that, you know, it's different for everybody. Some people are struggling more than others with this. Anything that any of you would like to share individually with your fans out there?
I mean, just going day by day, it really helps me to go through all of it. I know, like you said, some people it's harder than other people, but not trying to think too much ahead, you know, just leave the moment and just try to stay calm and, you know,
take the step that's in front of you.
Listening a lot of disco music and
yeah, perspective is helpful. It's like it's same idea as Starter said. It's like day by day, keeping the perspective that it feels crazy and nuts now, but you know, hopefully in a year, you know, I'm going to say for sure too, I feel confident. Year, we'll start, things will be back to normal. We'll start to get back to regular life. And at the same time, as much as this kind of stuff hurts and it's terrible, it fortunately at least helps us appreciate the stuff that we took for granted or that were just normal. And now we can really appreciate like the stuff we get to have. Agreed. You know, you really realize you can't go to a restaurant, can't go to a movie. Just these regular things you take for granted. Going to the grocery store without having to walk down an aisle telling you where to go and where you can't turn back. You know, we took that all for granted. So when this is all over, said and done, I think we'll have a lot more appreciation. We should all be nicer to each other, more cordial, knowing that we all came out of the same place. I mean, everyone's going through it together in some sense. So I think there's a community at the same time that we can build from this. And I think just come together, be better, be nicer to each other. So
yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, that's great words. Please, Eddie.
It's just my English is not so good. Maybe somebody can translate this sentence.
Apollo.
Vas-y, dis-la.
Okay, fire away, Eddie.
Okay, là où croit le péril, croit sauve.
What? Say it again.
You know, everything is gonna be okay.
Here we go. You're good.
Okay.
On that, he goes, everything's gonna be
kind
okay.
of complicated French, but I'm really confident with what I'm gonna see. You know, blah blah. Sometimes you know we must to see action.
Yeah.
So I believe in that. So everything is gonna be okay because we can do action.
I like it.
That's the moment, present moment.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Can I say hi to all the Boogie fans for everybody?
Of course.
Especially to Tina Pearson.
Oh, especially for Tina Pearson.
Lucky girl.
Yeah.
And all the fans of Boogie fans. We love you. See you soon.
Oh, I love it. Chop Shop, Cindy, anything to add?
Maybe one thing. Me and my girlfriend right now we are about to move in with each other in July. So we're practicing right now. I would say in a weird way, and this is a difficult time. But every day that we feel grumpy when we wake up, we work out. We just work out, and this is the first time of my life that I do that for real with like a great schedule.
Yeah.
Great, man.
Or almost.
Oh, Apollo's impressed.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's because of him.
Push up is on stage, right?
I don't know. It just helps a bit. I guess that's what I would add.
All you basically what you just did is sign yourself up for push-ups on stage the next time Apollo drops down. There's gonna be a little
one-handed now.
There's gonna be
I gotta get it.
Get in here,
A duo, a duet.
Yes, a push-up duet, if you will.
Yeah.
Cindy, anything to add, my love?
Well, I just want to say to everyone, you know, you're all in our hearts, and as soon as we can come back on stage, it's gonna be our mission to make sure everyone's having a good time again and dances together, and we're gonna spread this disco love and energy again all over for you guys.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful message. I appreciate all of you taking the time to celebrate the best groove dance music ever, baby. Here we go, Disco Cruise. There is another Disco Cruise. You guys are on it, so we got to make sure we get our guests back as well next year. And you know, I want to thank you five for taking the time to be here. It means a lot. Obviously, not
Thank
just
you, Jason.
Oh, it's our pleasure, not just to me, but Star Vista Live. It's you're a big part of what we do, and I really do appreciate you guys taking the time. And for all the folks out there watching, now you know a little bit more about the Boogie Wonder Band. And I appreciate you tuning in here to the Star Vista Live YouTube channel. And make sure you go and check out Boogie Cindy's YouTube channel as well for a little behind the groove. Once a week, she's dropping some new content content for everybody, and we'll do that here as well. You guys have a ton of videos, a lot of great music and songs, and we were going to kind of put them all in here, but I wanted to focus on getting to know you a little bit, so people can keep their eyes here tuned to this Star Vista Live Disco channel, and they'll see some Boogie Wonder Band song and some videos and some clips being released over the coming weeks. So stay tuned here. But before anyone shuts off, we are going to leave you with your You Should Be Dancing from Home collaboration that you all did. So on behalf of Boogie Wonder Band and me, I'm your virtual cruise host, Jason. Thanks for tuning in yet again. Stay tuned for more content coming soon. And don't leave just yet. Remember, a video right here for you. Wash your hands, stay good, stay happy, stay healthy. We'll see you guys around. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye, Jason. I love you.
Dancing.